Sawadee Krab, and welcome to another episode here for Fight Principles. We look into what to learn from martial arts and martial artists for real life. And today I planned a very special episode. At least for me it's a special episode because, as you might know, this podcast is being recorded out of Bangkok, Thailand. And today I'm talking about a martial arts legend that's actually from Thailand. We're talking about one of the most prolific martial arts action heroes, sometimes villains, in the movie industry. It's Tony Jaa. Tony Jaa, the master of, I want to say, the art of movement and maybe even combat storytelling, if you will. So what makes Tony Jaa so special, and what can we learn from Tony Jaa? That's what we're trying to look into today. And to start things off, you know that I often like to pose a question. And for Tony Jaa, it's, what happens when martial arts isn't just about fighting, but about storytelling, movement, and maybe even pushing human limits. And Tony Jaa redefined martial arts cinema by bringing, and that's not a first new term for many probably, by bringing Muay Boran to the world. Okay, Muay Boran is the original martial arts that precedes Muay Thai. You might be familiar with Thai boxing, Muay Thai. So Muay Boran is the ancient version of that, so to speak. And so he performed those breathtaking stunts with no CGI and virus and all those things in his movies, and proved that martial arts is more than combat. When you watch Tony Jaa, it feels like it's an expression of discipline, of culture, and storytelling. And to understand all those things, all that, and to see what we can learn from him, let's dive into the roots of this martial arts legend. And as for many famous martial artists and also actual fighters here in Thailand, his beginnings were quite humble. He was born in Surin province in Thailand, which is not Bangkok, so it's a rather poor-ish province. And his parents were elephant herders. Very interesting. And as so many martial arts fans, he grew up watching Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, Jet Li, and according to his story, to himself, when he talks about it, he mimicked their moves in the rice fields back home in Surin. And, he got inspired by traditional Muay Boran, the predecessor to Muay Thai. And that's when he tried to, figure out how to move and how to make those moves his own. And when he was young, he then started to train Muay Thai. So Muay Thai is the combat form of Muay Boran, if you will. So it's the current version, so to speak. He trained Taekwondo, he trained Judo, he even trained Wushu. And that led him to develop a very diverse skill set. And interestingly enough, what I found interesting when reading through his biography and all those things, he also studied gymnastics and then later on stunt work. So he learned to perform every stunt by himself without needing CGI or a stuntman or anything like that. And while this is only the setup to what made him great, I think we can already take away something from that, because he showed great discipline at young age and self-training, starting in a rice field, right? So discipline and self-training can turn, in this case, a childhood dream into reality. But as a takeaway for our real life, it's you don't need to wait for the right moment, for the perfect moment. You don't need to have the perfect situation surrounding. You can always just start. If you're disciplined enough, you can just start. And that's what Tony Jaa did. And eventually, of course, he became better at all things combat, and with this unique focus on Muay Boran. So this ancient predecessor to Muay Thai was developed for war rather than for sport. Like I said, Muay Thai is the combat form, so to speak, but Muay Boran emphasizes even more on elbows, knees, jumps, throws and like super unorthodox strikes that aren't allowed in modern Muay Thai because they are too dangerous. It also often incorporates like training with weapons such as swords and sticks. Like we have like the ancient form of this combat is called Krabi Krabong here in Thailand, where you train with swords and sticks, and it's very often then, of course, combined with Muay Boran. So you see Muay Boran and with swords and sticks with the Krabi Krabong combined. According to his biography, he trained 4 to 6 hours daily, but not only Muay Boran or Muay Thai. He incorporated acrobatics, agility drills, full body conditioning. Kind of sounds like the Bruce Lee episode already, right? And what I found very interesting, what he added to it when he talks about his regime, he said he actually developed some animal-inspired movement, like incorporating elephant, monkey, tiger stances for fluidity. Might sound a bit weird, but if you actually train in the art of Muay Boran, for example, lots of the moves have animal names. Like, for example, there's one move that's called break the elephant's tusk. So when you catch the leg of your opponent and you then hit it with your elbow and then add a spinning elbow to it, basically. That's like breaking the elephant's tusk. So lots of the moves in the ancient traditional Muay Thai, Muay Boran, actually have animal names, which then makes what he says here, I think, more reasonable or more sensible. You're like, oh, okay, I get it. Animals have a big part in like Thai storytelling. So he then incorporated different animal stances because he said it makes it more fluid. And who am I to argue, or who are we to argue? Because if you just look at his performance, those gravity-defying kicks, flips, those parkour-like stunts were what set him apart. He set new standards for martial arts choreography based on his development. So a key takeaway for me here is that martial arts isn't just about power. It's about control, balance, and the mastery of movement. And again, it's a great takeaway for life, because in life it's not always just about one thing. You have to, master or get better at different things in life in order to actually fully embrace or fully master your job, your relationships, whatever it might be. So he didn't just focus on Muay Boran only, Muay Thai only. He focused on all other things like acrobatics, stances, understanding how animals move, and so on, to actually create something new. I think that's a great takeaway for life. Don't only focus on the one thing that you're good at, focus on other things that impact it as well. Okay, but let's finally talk about what made Tony Jaa so famous, right? Breaking into cinema with Ong Bak and Tom Yam Goong, the probably two most famous movies that he starred in before he then went on to be part of the Fast and Furious franchise. Ong Bak came out in 2003, so quite a long time ago, and it was the first real martial arts film to showcase Muay Boran's raw power. And interesting enough, there were no stunt doubles used, no CGI. Every flip, elbow strike, every knee was real. And if you ask modern MMA fighters, what's your favorite combat martial arts movie, many will mention Ong Bak. They don't know much about Thailand, they don't know much about the culture, but they will say Ong Bak because it looks real. So this Muay Boran raw fight-like choreography was amazing and was a first in 2003, and that put him on onto the world stage. And he followed it up 2 years later with Tom Yam Goong, which, funny enough, is actually the name of a Thai dish here, with Tom Yam Goong, in English called The Protector. And this raised the bar even more for martial arts stunt work. He had this legendary one-take staircase fight scene. If you haven't seen that, go to YouTube, Tom Yam Goong staircase fight scene. He fights up multiple floors without a single cut. It's amazing. When that was also the first movie, even more than in Ong Bak, I want to say, where he actually introduced like those animal themed combat moves. Like actually in his biography, he actually talks about like how he used elephant themed combat moves based on, again, the Muay Boran traditional style, to also highlight Thailand's warrior culture, which is pretty cool. Especially, like, as I said, I'm recording this podcast out of Thailand, so it's amazing to see that. And the impact on global cinema cannot be understated because both of those films, of course, brought the Thai martial arts to Hollywood, then influencing films like John Wick or The Raid. I mean, The Raid is one of the whole series, right? But the original Raid is like one of the most highly rated martial arts movies ever, I believe. Like if I ask a martial arts fan, what are your favorite martial arts movies? There might be Ong Bak on there, but there's definitely The Raid on there, and maybe now John Wick, but there's lots of gun usage in there as well, of course. So this created like a new standard for realism in martial arts movies by really emphasizing on authentic movement and authentic stunt work, and not just like fake flying through the air stuff, which was really cool. And I think it's fair to say that this actually inspired the next generation of martial artists and stunt performers too. They then prioritized practical effects over like just CGI and stuff like this. And the takeaway here, first, from a Tony Jaa perspective, is of course that action should tell a story. He's not doing just random stuff to do it, to look cool. Every move means something. And every movement matters. This is another great takeaway for real life. But every movement, everything that you do matters. And I think we got to be aware of that. Every interaction, every communication at work, with your friends, with your partners, it all matters. If you treat everything like it matters, you will be better at it, and you will be more mindful about it. So I think that's a great takeaway that we can learn here from Tony Jaa. I have one more thing that I wanted to discuss with you, which is his legacy and his influence. Because after the Thai movies, I mean, Hollywood became, of course, aware of him. Like, oh my God, what is happening? And so he got invited to join Fast and Furious 7, if you remember that. He was at Triple X, Return of Xander Cage, where again he showcased Muay Boran to a more Western audience. He does train new stunt performers and martial artists in Thailand, while also then, of course, still being a huge advocate for the tradition of Muay Boran. And I mean, as we see, to this day, he's blending martial arts, storytelling, physical expression very well together. And is evolving his career further and further. Now as one of the, I almost say, go-to martial arts expert when it comes to movie and storytelling. And when we look at how he does that, right, when we look at the future of martial arts storytelling, according to Tony Jaa, he's still a very big advocate for martial arts as a form of creative expression, not just fighting, not just combat. And that's why he focuses on Muay Boran, not just Muay Thai, not just MMA, but actually the traditional Muay Boran, because there's so much culture, so much tradition to it, and there's just so much story to be told. He emphasizes the importance of tradition, but he also focuses on actually evolving it with modern fight choreography, which again makes this unique blend. So yes, rooted in tradition, using traditional Muay Boran, but not being stuck in the past, actually adjusting it to modern situations, adding a few modern elements, and hence making something new out of it. And this, of course, inspires fighters, stunt performers, martial artists all around the globe to keep pushing physical limits, creative limits, storytelling limits, and so on. And this leads me to one of the final takeaways. One takeaway we've seen in, I think, every episode so far that we did, which is the best martial artists never stop learning, never stop adapting. And that's just a no-brainer by now, maybe, but it's still a very important takeaway for me, because if there would be someone who could stop and be like, hey, I'm cool, I'm done, I achieved everything, it's those people. It's people like Tony Jaa, like Jackie Chan, like Demetrius Johnson that we talked about before, right? So those people could actually stop because they would deserve it, but they don't. They keep pushing, they keep evolving, they keep getting better. And if they do it, who are we to stop, right? So that's the learning for life right now. Don't stop. You can always get better. And it doesn't mean that you have to, reinvent yourself all the time, but just getting 1% better every day, trying to be a little bit better every single day will lead to this transformation, will lead hopefully to a better life. And I think that's a very important big takeaway. As conclusion, what can we learn from Tony Jaa, right? First, he mastered movement, not just power. So master things that are related to what you do, not just the one thing that you're doing. We learned that in this case, martial arts is a form of storytelling. Every action has meaning. For life, every action, every interaction has meaning. Communication with friends, colleagues, employers, partners, everything has a meaning. Treat it meaningful, and you will learn and grow. And we saw that he respects the roots of tradition in Muay Boran, but he's trying to evolve with new styles. So evolve with new styles. What we learned from that is, don't just give up. Don't be stuck. Don't just be satisfied. Be okay. Be mindful of the past, but keep adding new wrinkles to it. Doesn't mean we have to reinvent everything all the time, but adding new wrinkles to it will definitely be beneficial for you, for your life, for whatever you're aiming to do. So now my question, of course, as we're at the end, we saw that Tony Jaa didn't just fight, he made like martial arts an art form. Now the question is, what can you learn from this journey? Do you agree with my takeaways? Do you have different kinds of takeaways? Let me know, shout out in the comments, either on Spotify or on social media at 5 Principles. Yeah, I apologize for the coughs in between, still a bit sick here, so I appreciate you still listening to the 5 Principles podcast. Next time I will be healthy, no more coughs, I promise. Until then, I hope you stay safe, take care, go train, go improve. Like, share, subscribe, shout out in the comments. Until then, stay safe, take care. We talk next time. Saudi Cup.
I'm Muay Thai. I think I'm Muay Thai. I think I'm Muay Thai.